Hi everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful day. It's the middle of summer and we are trying to make sense of everything that's going on. So much is happening and I don't know about you, but I like to journal. And when I journal, it helps me to get out all of the negative feelings onto the page so I don't carry them around with me. And in fact, books are a very important part of my life in general for a few reasons. They kind of help me get through tough times because I think about the people in the book. Maybe they're having a tougher time than me, and it's just a way of sort of escaping for a little while. Now, if you are a librarian or a bibliophile, at this time you might want to look away because I'm going to show you something that might horrify you. Alright, so I have a hobby that I like to do in my spare time, and it's called junk journaling. And some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not have heard of it, but it is basically making a book that is filled with all kinds of basically junk. I'll get back to that in just a minute. But how the bones of the book begin, like I said, if you're a librarian, look away, is from an old book that I cut out the innards of. I know, it's shocking, right? This particular book has beautiful silver pages in it. So, but someday it will be a junk journal that looks something like this. And this is my very first junk journal that I ever did, and it's a devotional book from like the 50s or 60s, could even be 70s, but it's called Apples of Gold. And so immediately my mind went to, let's make a book about apples. And so everything in it is about apples. There's pictures of apples. There's this fun little library card that says Annie the Apple Pie Fairy by Tim Bugbird, and it's got fictitious people that have checked the book out. It's got a picture of an apple cart, and it says Benny and the boys trying not to upset the apple cart, because I like a good joke. Paper that has apples on it, an old advertisement, just all kinds of things. Here's a lady holding an apple basket on a little insert card. But as you go through this, oh, there's another picture. There's a little story that goes along with it. Talks about grafting apple trees on the back of this. You get the idea. In the very, very back, there is an envelope. And in the envelope, you guessed it, there is a recipe for old-fashioned apple pie. This is how you take something old that nobody was looking at or using, or really had become sort of surplus to requirements, as they say, and made it into something new and fun and exciting, okay? Because really, honestly, this was a collection of devotionals that you can get in a more modern publication. I happen to think the book is beautiful, and I wanted to preserve it in a different way. All right, so who knows what will become of the little silver book called Pebbles in the Sand? Can you guess? Oh yes, I think it's definitely going to have to be a fun beach theme. Okay, this particular junk journal happens to be a story, and it's called The Journal of Samuel McLean Walker, okay? And it's not. I made him up. It's got bits and bobs in it. It's got pictures of maybe a drawing of him going places. It's the end papers are actually an old newspaper. It was meant to look pushed around, because look, I took ink and I gummed up the edges, and it's made from Ultra Suede, one of my dad's old coats, so I can keep this with me forever. Part of him too. But in it is a story, and it talks about this. It even has a picture of a guy by the name of Jay Klepper in it, And Jay Klepper is like the villain of the story. But in here there are pictures, songs. Don't Be the One to Cast the First Stone is the song in here. And also Take Me Back to Renfro Valley. But there's this old Renfro Valley hymn book that I thought looked cool in there. And there's a key that says heart on it. I don't know if you can see that. There's a picture of a little girl and a lady and some old crumpled up papers and all kinds of things in here. And it's trying to tell the story of a man's journey in book form. Okay? And yes, I used an old book and I turned it into something new. Okay? Even an older looking book. If sometime you ever want to look at it, it's supposed to look really homemade and hand stitched. Do you like that? So it got me to thinking. I wrote that. I wrote the story that goes along with it. I made the whole thing from scratch. And it got me to thinking about what my life book would look like. When my story is all written, what's it going to say? Who am I? What did I do? Why did people care about me or not care about me? And it got me to thinking about Jesus' story. Yes, this is going to get around to Jesus. Jesus' story was written in the Bible. Jesus had a story too. And as I've been reading through the stories in the Bible on Facebook Live on the Seeker's Hour page over the summer, I've been realizing that Jesus did only good things. And what a life story he had. And it made me think and want to try harder to have that kind of a life story. We're humans and we can't be perfect like Jesus, but we can attempt to have moments of perfection. John Wesley believed you could have moments of perfection. It's a very difficult thing to achieve, but we can all try to work towards it. So in my thinking about my books and my junk journals, I thought, what would my junk journal look like? What would be in there? Would there be a lot of love and a lot of fond memories, a lot of good things that I accomplished? Or would it be a mixture of good and bad, or would it be mostly bad? I'm going to work towards it being mostly good. And I hope you will too. What will be written in your book? Jesus' book is pretty hard to beat. I hope you will enjoy looking at those stories that Jesus told, that he was in, and use it as an example of the life that you could lead and the book that you will leave behind. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you soon.